is not the most mind-blowing thing in the world. Defo playing Sky and the switch for Chronicle to now take over that Raze might give him a little bit more space to sort of play as that secondary role, but it's not something he's really done much before. It's always been that sort of pure duelist. The Jet is what we put this guy forward for, so it's going to be intriguing to see if it works for him.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're diving into this first round. Ascend on the attack. Moving in for a little bit of control over Lamps. They've already put their Trailblazer through, but Shados goes down right away. Redguard now trying to answer back up. Good for one kill, but that is all. Mech really not putting up a good hold on the site. Chronicle can't get back in there, waiting for his teammates. They'll try to retake this control together, but a tough one ahead of them now that spike is planted.
Oh, okay. Nats has managed to quickly swing and give them a man advantage. Great flash. Should be a trade, but never mind. Vac's not going to get anything. And Nats has come to party already. 3 kills in the pistol. It leaves Monster. He's been a superstar so far this tournament. A first goes his way. Looking to try and isolate the Jules, but he can't quite close out Defo.
A good attempt, but it's Mech to walk away with it in the end. An impressive retake, and it's off the back of their consistent performer in Nats. This guy has been delivering in every single game. It doesn't matter whether it's been a victory or a loss, whether it's been a strong Mech or the weaker face that we've seen slip through sometimes. Nats has been that consistent factor for them. Yeah. And he comes in here with, I mean, sure, 3 kills overall, but it's that double to get them right back in. Like, we're saying, oh, the spike is planted now, it'll be tough. And I'm thinking that's because they get to go to post plants, but just as they try that, Nats just swoops in and saves the day.
Yeah, I think it's also going to create a very different dynamic on this map because firstly, you're going to be moving in with a single controller, which it definitely have its difficulties. We see how he actually likes to lurk through when it comes to those takes in towards the A site, but it also changes how the attack's going to work out for Ascend because you've got a very different defensive setup that revolves around a lot more information in terms of having not only that double initiator, but then also having Cypher, which kind of works as a quasi-initiator anyway, and all of his traps, which are going to cause you issues when you actually try and make your way in.
Ton of difficulties there for Ascend to deal with, and in this round, well, there's a whole bunch.
Nasty. It's so nasty.
I think he seems to have dealt with the first bit, and he's able to get out of there for free at least. So not the most horrendous of starts. A trap play avoided, but Monster's gone down, trying to sneak his way through on A. You know, that's a play that I think I know Nats for the most. Again, this guy just constantly putting his wall up, moving down into Lamps and taking the control on the attack side. So no surprise that Mech are ready for that kind of Viper play on the other side.
That's a little bit whiffy from Chronicle. He's someone who's going to be in a much more aggressive role for, I guess, one of the first times. Like, you have to bear in mind, he did also pick up Chamber for a bit, and that was incredibly aggressive. Like, I still remember his split play was basically just him running down mid and then trying to TP back out again. So it's not anything too wild, and I think it's a role he can definitely take forward. Then again, though, I am liking already. Like, as I said, if you were even a Nats fan going back just a year, you will have loved to watch the way that he would set up into those cameras. Like, almost use it as just I'm going to sit here until somebody peeks me, and then they take that information and run with it. And even just the little trap setup they had there, it's not something mind-blowing, and especially if you have someone like CNED who has the ability to escape, it might not be too impactful, but it is going to allow you to hold on to quite a lot of ground.
This goes here.
I'm sure there's many more setups in mind here for Mech. They're going to need to deploy some of them to deal with Ascend's round, the buy round coming out of them here as they power on up that economy. Camera getting a ton of information for them. Yeah, and the thing is, they're again playing the same as they were on long. They got the cam up top, got a nasty position on it. It's going to spot them. Maybe they don't even destroy it. But there's an immediate flash coming out from Defo to take a kill or disorientate those players either way. It's a fantastic setup. The problem is Ascend have left a trap outside of Hooker. They don't intend to go this way. They're moving over towards this A site, taking an orb, slowing the round down completely, and they don't intend to make any decisions just yet. Still a minute 5 on the clock.
Yeah, patient in their play. And a lot of the reliance in these sort of entries is going to come in onto Starzo. Was thoroughly impressed with how he played in their game versus... Oh my God. I was going to say versus FPX. Monster's already down. That's a huge issue. One of your controllers already gone. The one that's likely going to give you access into the site. And he has to flash up. Oh, it did so nasty. These combos. This is why you have Defo switching. Is so that he can play aggressive just around the abilities of Nats.
Lots of control. Being bought back by Mech. They've managed to hold on to Lamps. So Ascend, you know, as they get this spike down, there's not really anywhere safe for them to go. Crossing back over to mid, still needs a couple of fights, but they've got to be quick. Okay, there's the fight one with Redgar going down. Starzo's just walked in. He's just taking control. There were 2 players in there. I thought maybe that could surprise them. And despite the fact that both are low, Starzo's getting the heal. There's a flash up, a run out, and a knife to close the round. Starzo's taking out the blade, and 18 HP left, Tom. The heal that he got just moments ago from Vac saved his life.
He must have had no bullets. There's no way that was his decision making. There's absolutely no way, because that's the most minuscule of differences between the round going the other way. Yeah, he sprayed. I don't think he hit a single bullet and then just went for the knife instead. I can't believe that's the first way that said they're going to get around on the board. And Mitch, as a bonus round for Mech, that's incredible. 18 HP is the difference to winning it.
Yeah. Yep. 1 second on the play, you cancel that heal, you make that player hide 1 second earlier when that flash comes through. Completely different round. Like, that's just wild. Just wild. Coming in round number 4 here, Mech. They've got their buy up, as you said. Fantastic round for them as they now set the scene, set the stage to potentially ruin Ascend's economy completely, leave them with nothing. Nice swing by Starzo, though. It's a good opening. Flash through. Here's where Mech really go back out and fight for the site. The kills are going their way. Redgar unchallenged on the long peak, and Defo's able to double up. This is a secure site for Mech, and an almost impossible clutch for CNED, Tom. The spike is down. It's easily under Mech's control, and look at the agents that he's up against. You're going to have a smoke back up in a second to secure Hookah, and then flashes coming online over the next 10, 15 to deal with and get that information. This is tough. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they flash long and clear him? They know where he is now.
Okay, timing's gone a little bit off there for Redgar. He had the angle correct, but isn't going to manage to catch him. Now, bear in mind, CNED could take this spike and run. Like, it's a relatively long time in terms of rotation, but he has enough on the clock to actually do it, and can even just try and bait them out. Try and confuse them, but you're not seeing any sort of rotation just yet. Both players looking to try and stick this one together. Nat's been spotted. There's still 1 man to go, though. Defo waiting, ready with a flash in hand. He's been so good at hitting the timings on all of this utility, but CNED's going to cross into the site instead, try and bait him out. He's going to have to stick this one, though.
Hoping he could force both fights out there. That would have been a big mistake by Mech, and you can see exactly why. 2 HP left, but the timer had already ticked, and Mech have secured the round 3-1. Hey, that was a tough clutch, and he came damn close. A few extra seconds on the clock, and maybe he can get it done. But coming into this round 3-1 with a bunch of ultimates online for Ascend, that doesn't really change the outcome, though. As we said, previous round was fantastic. This one's a win for Mech.
The problem is the money, though. Like, both teams are kind of in a weak spot. CNED's going to have Tour de Force. You've got a Showstopper, that rifle that he saved, Seekers, and then the other 2 online. Like, although weaponry technically favors Mech, I am not convinced with them going into this round. The only real bet, like, if they were on the attack, I'd almost say it favors Ascend. But because they're on the defensive side, the Judge is viable, and so is the Spectre.
Yeah, so they can definitely bridge the gap on some of those weapons, but yeah, I see what you mean, man. A Showstopper off the back of Seekers, for example, a rifle in the background, a Tour de Force, one kill, alone. 1 plant, anything like that. You've got a potential Viper's Pit to play with. You can see Spike moving over towards Lamps. Now there's the fight, and Monster's got the kill. That is going to be the Pit online. The Showstopper connects. Nats is down. Weapons can be upgraded. Starzo's in the spawn. But he's gone down, Tom. That could have been a critical error. CNED's at least recovering something and making this a little bit better. And a Judge inside a Viper's Pit. I mean, Monster, it looks like he might even have this locked down himself.
It's going to be left all onto Chronicle. Yet to really see him turn up in this game so far. First goes his way, but bear in mind how low he's going to get over the next couple of seconds. Almost has to try and back out of there just to give him a chance. And while Monster as the executioner, it's almost alt spam to get the round over the line for Ascend. But when you see the economy for Mech in the next round, you can see why it's worth it.
Yeah, we have to be clear. That was a huge commitment. In an ideal world, you don't want to go into a round, use a Viper's Pit, a Tour de Force, a Showstopper, and Seekers all at once. That's a huge risk. And if it's because you're going to ruin your opponent's economy and take control of the game, sure. And so the reward is there for them in that regard. They get to build up a little bit of money, but it was necessary for them to do that based on the mistakes they'd already made. That's a huge recovery of an early stumble out of Ascend, and now a chance to really reset this and come in with fresh faces on. That's an aggressive push out of Redgar. I like the attempt when you've only got pistols, but Ascend were more than ready. You can see, look at this. They've just spread the net on this. They want to catch any aggression out of Mech. Take no risks.
That single kill alone will almost pull an entire rotation. Again, though, it's going to be the cam placement of Nats that keeps them in the right position, but Defo already gone, and unless there's going to be some real pistol magic, this site is going to fall.
Oh, nice shot out of Nats. Maybe we won't count out the pistol magic just yet. Shados, maybe with something else to say? Nope, not quite. Round secured decently in the end. Ascend coming out with a kill on everyone. Getting those ults back online slowly but surely, chipping away. And 3-3. But look, this is it was a weak round out of Mech. They get a little bit of damage. It's so-so. This is where things really matter. And again, they're coming in with even footing in terms of the economy. As in the hardware they're bringing to it. Their shields are a little bit lighter, but they make up for it with those ultimates. Problem is, they're not the 4 heavy punchers, heavy hitters that Ascend have. You've got a Cypher and an Omen in there. Not going to help that much.
No. Redgar again trying to play a little bit more aggressively deep into mid. It seems to be a spot that they really want to challenge for, but it is quite intriguing that a lot of the way they're playing this is firstly not so much around like the one-ways, which is really what we sort of testament this agent to, but also it's not like there's any sort of stack up. Like most of the time it's been this play around Defo and Nats that has been the aggressive sort of push, and then you've had Chronicle sort of as this rotator, which again is maybe a little peculiar considering the agent he's currently playing. So we'll have to see how this one goes. Again, a lot of information found by the Tigers on either side, and already they're starting to pressure into B.
Yeah, they're spotting some players, but it's not really actionable info just yet. You've still got Cypher utility on the site to deal with and a bunch of corners uncleared. This is really just poking out of Ascend to see if someone's going to bite and if they can catch a stray bullet into the head, but it's not happening just yet. 35 seconds, you know, this strategy, you can't really keep deploying it all the way down till 0. You got to go in eventually. That's when the trouble starts to brew. Showstopper comes into play, and an easy closeout from Mech so far. Players diving out one at a time. Ults to separate them, utility to execute on. They were not in trouble at any moment during that push.
Yeah, solid hold. And I do think that so far, when you've looked at the defensive side, this B site has been a lot stronger for Mech, especially, as said, with that Defo Nats combo. It's the other side where I'd actually like to see Ascend pressure a little more. Now, we are in kind of a weird situation with this map, because I feel like in most cases, when you go into a map, like, for example, Split, you go, okay, if they do well on the attacking side, that's great, because most teams will do better on the defense, just commonly. This map, Mech, I would say better on the defensive side, Ascend better on the attack. So this first half, as it was sort of alluded to on the desk, might actually play a lot more overall than you expect. I feel like Redgar's got nearly all of his kills from just random smoke spam.
You could be right. You could be
random
right.
In quote marks, because obviously he knows where he's aiming,
yeah.
But he doesn't. He's just guessing when they're there.
Now, I've got big respect for the Guardian plays around lamps. The sprays through the teleport obviously can be massive. And same way through that wall. When you're rocking with a Cypher, the flexibility too. If that cams over towards A, if the traps are there, exec and off it. So far it has been pretty like, well, B-sided, but not one-dimensional, right? The utility on Cypher is constantly swapping up. And sure, look at the B hold. It's the same as what we've seen before. Like, we've had this exact same hold from them before. With the camera inside of Hookah, the player to flash and exec off it, but so far it hasn't found the value. Like Ascend haven't spotted it, they haven't really lost anyone to it, so just keep rocking that, and I think it's going to come up for big value later.
CNET died to it once. Like, okay, so we got another setup. This is the thing whenever I watch Nats. I'm sure there'll be people like, oh, he sounds a little bit biased. I just genuinely enjoy watching Nats' setups. This, though, from Starzo, hyper-aggressive flash is not great, but I guess it technically got him out of there. If you blind your teammate, maybe you blinded the other team as well. Seekers, I believed also, was just popped very, very early on. So, considering there's still 1 minute 20 left on the clock, know, maybe that's a little bit overzealous.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Seekers was a big panic. The rotation to the A side is so that you have this from the Cypher, much more passive play based on the fact that Mech know they're up against the low buy. They want to take some control over mid, some information early over on B, push out of hookah, flash out, make that noise. They're seeing players there. They're feeling the push. They fall back. I don't know if they just expected it to be an all-out blitz from them with the pistols or something like that. But
yeah,
with the information that they got, they kept the 3 stack there. Info's decayed now, right? Like, it's been a long time. They rotate over. Now they're stacked up on the right side. Surprisingly, Hunter's Fury comes out, lands nothing, doesn't even delay them, really. I mean, it's a lot committed out of Mech already for basically no results. Nats is the one to step up. Only 1 kill under his belt. Trades out immediately, but Mech get there in the end. They get it done. Strange round along the way. Certainly not clean. I think up until the fight started, Ascend were doing a lot better than I expected in terms of the ults they managed to burn out.
I also just think the timing. Like, so for example, you know that Nats has a setup which has a trap on the side, which is going to catch the person who's planting. Hunter's Fury, then that's an insta-kill. Like, that person can't go anywhere, but there's also no real way for Nats, without just wide swinging, to actually kill that player off. So I feel like you almost had some guaranteed free kills, and instead you went for the gamble. I guess it kind of makes the team a little bit more disjointed and forces them into the angles that ultimately Nats want. So there is still value held, but yeah, 2 ults burnt out for ultimately not really doing too much, but I don't think Mech are going to mind too much. 6-3 up on their opponent's map choice, going into Breeze as well. Bear in mind, Breeze has been the one map that has still looked incredible for them. Like, whether you've sort of been disappointed by this team or not, that's the one map where you go, okay, that's old Mech.
I do think as well, you know, for Shados, I wonder where that Hunter's Fury gets used. It pushes them forward so they don't maybe have the time to clear out those traps. Maybe they run into them a little bit more carelessly with the time as well. They're like, let's just get in there, let's get it done. I don't know if that's the intention, if it was to delay them and allow for more rotations to come in. Either way, the round ends up in Mech's favor. A little bit less, you know, some fewer tools than we wanted to see maybe coming into this, but Ascend sneaking over with that same wall orb. Haven't had value from it before. Haven't really had the success, I think. A nice paranoia going to catch Chronicle completely. He's behind the box, but Starzo still catches him. And Starzo's been fantastic at those kind of duels. I almost believed he was going to take that across the line right away. Although Redgar survives, he's still got players everywhere. He's surrounded, taking damage through the walls even at this point.
He still gets another, though. He's taken out Monster. Okay, the reposition might have been a little bit audacious, but he's given his team a chance here. Flash through. It's going to be followed up by Nats, but Vac is holding his ground. A couple more players. He's even pulling out the classic, trying to get a gun. And once more, it's left on to Defo. We've seen him in a clutch situation like this before, but this time, the crossfire is far better from Ascend. 4th round on the board. Again, an ultimate or 2 committed, but ultimately a pretty damn good execute from them.
All things considered, that was fantastic. And a much needed round as well. Their economy was on the rocks. Losing out on that round would put them in a really bad spot. But coming in now, 2 behind, can easily fight to equalize this at the half. And the problem being, Mech have got a wealth of credits. They've got so much they can invest in this round and easily come into the next doing the same. So for Ascend, it's going to be a little bit of a grind out on this one. Showstopper to start. You got Zeke with the From the Shadows. Woo! Huge. Round already secured. But Redgar can counter it, Tom. He's got zone.
The flash is
good. Hey, we're playing anti-flash, baiting for the run-up, and then TPing out. That's so smart.
Oh, they predicted it. Well done by Vac. Just making sure he's not going to be able to get in anywhere. We're not going to see much out of the first showstopper. Second one, though, and there's Shados. A multi-frag to bring them back into the round. Vac, though, has done very well so far. A chance to isolate the duel, but more importantly, a chance to just run all the way back onto the A site. And there is no fast rotation here for the other side.
It's kind of funny because right there at the end. So first of all, I think Redgar just faked the TP with his own little teleport. I don't think it was heard though. Oh, it wasn't. I was on back and didn't hear it. So that's unlucky. But the From the Shadows ended up saving his life. Zeke's life. Now Vac left in the 1v1 up against Redgar. Flash out. Not gonna catch him with that. He knows he's a little late. He's heard the steps, and the swing is so damn perfect. 5 kills in this round, and it's fantastic. Like I said, Zeke ended up from the shadows. He used that to get away from Chronicle. Got shot in the head by Shados, but he used it to get away from Chronicle and the Showstopper, so that was good.
Well, for the final round of the half, both teams with a pretty decent buy, but ultimates, there's only one. You've got yourself the Viper's Pit. Shados, in theory, might be able to get towards the Hunter's Fury, but not been the most impactful ult so far. Now, this is one of those setups we've not really seen, and I'm intrigued to see how it works, because as I said, every other one that we've had from Nats involves a cam and then a pop flash. This one almost just seems purely for information purposes, and he hasn't actually activated the cam yet. He might be about to see their entire squad. It just depends when he chooses to use it.
Well, here we go. It's time for them to start making their way through. The trap's already being destroyed. Nats is here spraying away, taking down one. Reloads off as well. Even got a drone coming up to cover his right side from his teammate. No, in fact, they're fighting together, and they need to. Shados not able to land the shot. Chronicle steps up, but he can't get it done. Not on for the triple. Defo's got to now come back in the 1v1. The spike retrieved. Zeke on his way to B. He's made it out of here.
30 seconds left.
Smoke down.
Thing is,
cover.
With the position that was there for Defo, he's actually there a little bit quicker than he might expect. 2 flashes online as well. He can almost just burst. Now he's just gonna run through though. Zeke may be expecting a little bit more of a sound cue, but the timing from Defo was sublime. And while Mech, safe to say, I think they deserved this first half.
It was really smart of Zeke to get up close. I think he triple. So this is actually, he is solo holding the site right now, but also not like, if it's a one guy can walk up and break it. No one's going to be solo walking out to there and breaking it to fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what this allows is basically the rest of the team have completely stacked up on this other side of the map. This looks like a hard read out from Ascend of where Mech are wanting to play their pistol. Already the paranoia through, but it hasn't connected onto Redgar. He'll take one for free, and the counter flash means nothing more comes of it. Nade out as well, but Monster from the top rope comes flying down to take out Chronicle. Now they go pushing back into the danger man. CNED with his shorty.
He hasn't been spotted. He hasn't been checked yet, but surely the spidey senses are tingling right now. You're realizing there's some nastiness at play. Here comes the shorty, and nothing is found. 8 HP left on Defo. Now, unfortunately, he's the only guy that can heal people, so he can't heal himself. Oh, big flash in. They're going aggressive. They're taking the fight right to them. The boombots come in to save the day, though. Starzo able to take one. Low HP. Reload on, and Shados falls. And now, all that's left is Defo on 8 HP. The man from earlier, he survived the shorty blast to the chest. And now,
he's screwed.
Well, I don't think he's going to be getting away with much more. He is being guarded. That defuse is already through, and well, he's been knifed. He has been. Starzo, it's gotten a knife kill. What is this game?
So the first round they got in the first half, and the first round they got in the second half was because I think it was the third round. It was the third round. But so both times that they have won a round, like the first round they've won, has been him finishing it with a knife kill. Which is, I don't know if that's a stat that will ever be recreated.
Absolutely ridiculous. Just to run in there with your knife out. He's 8 HP. I guess you know he's low. The temptation's too much. Surprised he didn't think he was coming up against a shorty. Maybe he did. Just didn't give a damn. I don't know. Either way, it's worked out for the round. And possibly the equalization here. Ascend looks set to take 7. Chronicle, though, putting up a good fight. Vac is able to deal with the player on long. Retakes the space, but the flash was good. I like the idea from Vac, but Defo had the contingency, and now they've got a little bit more control, a little bit more damage done, and they're going back to long, though, Tom. They want the heal. Defo's going to be able to bring Chronicle and Shados right back up, reset into this fight, and another kill goes their way. Starzo's 50 HP, and he's being swarmed. The blast pack keeps them back for just a moment. And Mech haven't got the plant down, and they can't get it safely. Defo on the site, practically stuck. He wants to heal on range, and another kill is found. They just wait for Ascend to make the mistakes.
Now it's left on to CNED. A few tagged players, that's for sure, and he's almost got the healthy one. Chronicle coming out with a 3K from the pistol. A round that definitely shouldn't have gone in their direction. Now they've reaped the rewards of picking up those Spectres. extending their lead. And well, on the other side of things, the purchase is not going to be good, if anything.
I mean, what a devastating round to lose, considering what they come up against there. It just should never end up in that position. And a lot of those fights are close. The numbers advantage that Mech have brings them through them, but even still, they end up losing a player and then taking like 80 damage each in these trades. But the heal is there, and it's brought back into the round twice. You get players being healed up. Chronicle and Shados, and then later just Shados, I believe. Ascend lost CNED right away. He's got his orb, whether he likes it or not. And we're going to go into the late round with Ascend stalling it out, not moving. And I guess as expected, though, right? This is the kind of play that they should be making. Just hoping that Mech push into one of these angles where they can exploit them.
Yeah, this round genuinely just looks like Ascend doing whatever they can to get orbs. Like, Starzo's already managed to retrieve one, he'll die and get his showstopper. CNED did exactly the same thing, 2 orbs for the round. And now everyone else is just playing close angles, hoping they can get a kill or 2. Like, that's all it is. It's all about damage. Winning it seems unlikely, but that's a spike down. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of time on the clock, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But again, it allows some of those players to reposition back in towards the site. You've got one holding on into the teleporter as well, just in case. And it's just whiff after whiff. These classics are managing to take the round home. Nice shot from Chronicle, at least. We'll be able to isolate and retrieve the spike, but again, there's a chance for them to move back around. Low HP, in fact, just 6 remaining for Shados, and he has no idea. Starzo even still has his nade. If he goes for a plant, this kill is free.
Oh, this is perfect. Where does he bring the drone, though, clearing that box? Oh, he hasn't gotten all the way around. 10 seconds left. He seems to suspect it, though. He was on his way to clear it with the drone. He's looking at mid. Sooner or later, he has to plant. Going for spawn. It's the save for the angles, and it's the correct one. Nade coming through, though. He's low. He swings, and Starzo catches. Oh, the round goes to Ascend in the end. The showstopper for the next as well. That's a huge win for Ascend. After the way they fumble that second round in this half, they definitely want to get back into this half as quickly as possible.
I have absolutely no idea how they won that. Like, I think a lot of it comes down to Monster. Like, just being able to consistently reposition from where he was with the Classic. He drops the spike from behind, but then they also just delay a ridiculous amount of time from that point. Like, normally if a round like this slips, you're looking at a team trying to execute with like 20 seconds left. They walked into that site with 45 seconds, and he drops the spike and probably wastes about 15 seconds on his own. Like, it's silly, and it's something that Mech, you got to be absolutely kicking yourself for, because now you got a Viper's Pit and a Showstopper to play off against, and not even a proper full buy.
It's again those weaknesses that we've called out on Mech this season. We've seen the drop off. We've seen these the synergy not quite be on the same level as it has been in previous seasons, but they've still got that firepower, and it's carrying them through some of these fights. Lead. Oh, all right. That's ambitious out of Redgar.
See, I want to say there's some sort of miscommunication, like there should have been a flash, but there was no one in position, well, defo, that could have actually given him a flash.
Well, he flashed elbow. See, the thing is, he flashed elbow, but I'm just going over my head. Like, they had hookah.
Well,
did they assume someone was hiding inside, or like
they took hookah?
They thought maybe someone was hiding in hookah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
It's a big gamble. Nobody was sight, basically, and there was somebody sight, so they paid for that. Man down, traded, good start. Zeke goes down. No, okay. And the showstopper's going to be used. They respect it and fall back. They get the space.
I've got your train.
30 seconds left.
Oh, Nuts just got stuck on the way out, and well, it somehow turned into a 2 versus 2. Trap destroyed, and the plant looking likely. A rotation already in from Cena, though. He might be able to try and catch someone if they peek, but maybe a little bit wary of his position. Trying to escape back to a more passive spot, but the swing out Shados maybe expects to be watched, but he will eventually get the kill. Trade not even going to come through either, as Shados comes out with a double. These rounds have been peculiar, been weird. Like Chronicle currently 17 and 12, looking fantastic, and probably one of the reasons that they're currently competing within this game, because as I said, there's been a lot of peculiar moments. Nonetheless, there's going to be a couple of judges and that tour de force.
Oh, big commitment. Whole bunch of utility used that in mech. I feel like this is a showstopper round. Yeah, if you're committing that much to taking over control, even what? I gotta say, Chronicle. I wasn't a fan of his orbital strikes. Showstopper didn't really do much for them there, but he's coming in with the rifle, try and pull this across the line. Redgar going absolutely ham. And Starzo left alone. He's been here from the start, sat with a judge in hand, waiting for someone to come into Lambs. But Tom, nobody has. They're just leaving him alone at this point.
Oh dear. Well, the only position left to clear. Chronicle also coming round from behind. And while this is a battle you're never going to win with the judge, it will be a 10th on the board for Mech. Especially on a map that has been formidable in the past for Ascend. They're looking fantastic. I also want to say, like, Mitch, you know when you play like racing games and you have that like turbo button, which basically you have to wait for it to build up over time. I feel like that's Redgar with his aim. And just every few rounds, or like maybe even every 5 rounds, or even just once a game, he'll press that turbo button, and just whatever he does in that round is straight BS. And that was this round, because that was just like running into the site. They sort of evenly traded, and then he just went, all right, lads, I'm going to kill everyone, and we're going to move on with the next round.
Yep, sometimes you got to just fast forward. That's what Redgar was up to. TP out, taking Trailblazer, but they're going to go for the space, re-peek into the operator, swing on in. Good nade trade, at least. Cancellation of the ult here out of CNED. Going to maintain the control, keep that operator in play for the ranged fights.
Oh no.
Nats has snuck through. Oh, they've spotted him. He can't quite thread the needle, and he's able to get a second. CNED knew where he was. He swung into him. A tour de force in hand, but that is not enough to deal with Nats. Oh man, he has walked into the B side and just made it his own.
A high impact kills as ever. Not sat anywhere near the top of the server, but just how much this man is able to do, and he's just gonna swing. He's had enough of this round already. It was Redgar last round. It's Nats. Duration of Mech. It's just you have so many superstars that, well, if you ever get all of them popping, the game's over. That doesn't matter who you are. Like, we've even seen that versus the most recent Masters winners. They faced off against God tier Mech, and that's why they're the Masters 3 champions. It's because they just obliterated anybody in their path. I also think there's a very strong argument that when they get to land, they're even better, but getting there didn't work out in the last split. Now, they're desperately trying to recover after what was a poor season. And while in this map, I think they've given a lot of people hope.
If this was Mech's pick, I'd say, well, they've spent the last week working on this. You know, I don't know what they've got up next, though. But this isn't Mech's pick. This is where Ascend wanted to fight. This is a map that we know Ascend to be incredibly good on. That just last week we said maybe they were looking like they're returning to form, to the bind Ascend of before. And now, well, Mech are close to closing this out. I love the setup from back, but he's going to be caught anyways. Defo in with another before he's shut down.
Spike down A.
Still, these pistols ever deadly. They know exactly where Starzo is, and that's going to take the time to isolate, and the remaining players rotating, and the second Zeke peaks. His head is gone. CNED now left. 1 versus 3. It would be one hell of a time for the God amongst men to show up, but as said, today has not been his day thus far. It knows roughly where Shadows is, and well, so did the last guy. The last guy might have had an idea. The same result.
Match point.
Always seems to be the way. 12-7 we go. Mech on Ascend's map pick have come in swinging. Their defense was good. They lost the pistol round to start out the second half, and despite that pistol, and then a thrifty win in round 3, Ascend have got nothing done. And now these rounds are starting to look fantastic for Mech. And we're seeing, look, as I've said, Ascend have got a more explosive ult econ, but it's not online right now. They need it. It's 12-7, 1 round. Needed 5 in a row for Ascend. They've got some Seekers to work with to start this one out. That's about all, and Chronicle is going to be dropped right away. There's CNED stepping it up.
Well, it's a start, but there's still plenty more to go. Seeker's already going to give them that extra little bit of information, so they'll have the knowledge of where they're going, or at least they think so. The TP's been utilized, but mainly just to spread this back out into more of a default. Nats, well, we've seen him in this spot many times before. This time, though, not on the Viper, so it might be a little bit more difficult.
I don't know what his plan is to get across. What Redgar is making some crazy TP plays. I mean, this guy not quite as bad as his B site TP on top of the pillar, but it ain't it. Mac can try to find something else.
There's almost a part of me that thinks he should just unbind that ability and just stop using it, because there hasn't been any success with it so far. Nonetheless, 25 seconds. 3 versus 5, 3 players on the site, 1 locking them in. This should be an impossibility for the remaining players of Mech. Somehow, though, again, just Nats explodes into the round. 3 kills in a matter of seconds. I feel like Starzo's almost scared to peek at this point, not wanting to face off against a man in form. Hits the dink for Shados, and they have the time. He's just holding the angle, but Monster just about gets away with it. 11 HP, trying his best to save the game, and he's not going to be able to. Mech close it like that.